The address here is 3408 30, and it's the far north unit in the. We'd really like for you to come out and participate. And if you don't participate, these conversations. I'm joined live today with Taylor Broadbent. She is the past president of Oklahoma College Dems. Her resume is huge. So good morning, Taylor.
Good morning.
Glad to have you on here with us. I'm going to ask for people that are listening in to please give a thumbs up if you can hear us okay. We're trying some new technology today. And if everybody can hear me okay, I'm just going to keep moving on. It's like our connection was lost. It says we're reconnecting. Uh-oh. Let me go in here and make a couple of, well, I'm on 5G, so we're just going to keep moving on. That's one of the problems that I've run into it is in this particular area in Norman, sometimes it cuts in and out. So Sam's given me the thumbs up. We're all good to go. And so thanks for thanks for being with us today. Also with us is Ouija, and I can't remember your last name. LinkedIn, and I pulled up your resume, and it just keeps going page after page after page after page. And in the year of the first, I can't believe how busy you are. And you you are you know, when people say you're an old soul, it sometimes comes across wrong, and I don't want that to come across the wrong way. I want you to really know that I'm just nothing but in envy of everything that you've accomplished and everything that you've done. So let's talk just a little bit about who you are first before we go on to some of the other topics, and then we'll end our conversation talking more about the Oklahoma College Dems and their activism and how we can do more outreach with others. That's kind of we'll kind of finish up our conversation later on with that topic. But tell us a little bit about Taylor.
Yeah, so I'm from Moore, Oklahoma, which, if you're listening, is just a little bit north of Norman, kind of in between Oklahoma City. My family has been from a time. My dad's family moved there when he was really young, and my mom's family has always lived in the area as well. My dad is a public school teacher. He teaches government at Moore High School. Shout out, Dad, if you're listening.
Awesome.
I don't think he is, but he's probably in class right now. He's also a night school principal for our school district as well. So he really works with kids who need a second chance at school.
Right.
My whole life growing up, he was a football coach. He coached, he's a defensive coordinator for Moore High School for a long time. So I spent a lot of my summers with him at football practice growing up, as I was little, sitting in the stands, watching them practice. And then my mom is a medical professional, medical technology. She actually worked for Norman Regional for a long time, but she's just now started working for Cerner Corporation, doing medical records research and programming for them.
So we're going to interrupt this just for a second to do some housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
For people who are listening in, thank you for joining in. We really appreciate all of the listeners for being on here with us. If you would, please, at the top of your Coffee with Dems special guest page, at the top is an up arrow. click on that and share with all of your friends that you're on this Coffee with Dem space, so that we can try to broaden the number of people that participate with us and get more people involved. Also, because of time constraints, we can't get to a lot of people to be able to get on and ask a lot of questions. So if you do have questions, if you would, please go ahead and write your questions down at the bottom under the little bubble in the lower right-hand corner. Write your questions out to us. You may have comments that we will try to get to as well. So this will allow us to continue to have this conversation flowing. Taylor's very pressed for time. She's a very busy person. We're getting ready for graduation. We don't want to waste a lot of her time, so that she's going to be able to continue to do what she needs to do today as well. So and it just came across, folks, just got the notification that Jerry Springer has passed away, 79 years old. So that's unfortunate. We give a shout out to him and his family. He was a very controversial person for a long time, but at the same time, he has a family and loved ones, and we say, you know, that it's sad for them. So Taylor, tell us more about who you are. Your parents, they're great parents. They have done a very good job. But I would probably say, as a parent myself, you've done a lot that exceeded their expectations.
My parents have always had really high expectations of all of us. You know,
How many brothers?
I have a brother and a sister. They're both
Okay.
younger than me. My brother is 20. He works at Tinker Air Force Base. He is a machinist. Went to trade school. And my sister is a sophomore in high school right now, at Moore. And she's just a little passionate Dem as much as I am.
Good.
I think it's also valid to mention that I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and
Yes.
a huge part of my identity and a huge part of, you know, me as a person. That I'm really connected to my tribe. My grandparents live in Northeast Oklahoma, and I get to spend a lot of time with them up there, and really be a part of that culture.
So you stay up there.
So they live in Muskogee area, but you know, stuff when I'm
Right.
up there with them. I think we go almost every single weekend I spend with them,
Okay.
which I try to do really frequently because I love my grandparents very much, and I
Wonderful.
miss not being able to be with them more
Right.
because of school. But
And it's a beautiful area over there, you know, with I believe they call it in Muskogee. I grew up in Kansas, so Kansas River, in Muskogee, I think they call it the Arkansas River.
yes.
So anyway, it's such a beautiful place over there with the rolling hills. And
Mhm.
I can understand why you have such a desire to go back over there, not only to be with the family, but be in that part of the country. It really is the green part of Oklahoma.
Yeah. I think it's really, this is a little off track, but you know, like Oklahoma has such an ecological diversity. I think it's really fun to come from here in Oklahoma City and have like the sprawling city and then go up there and it's so green and nice and beautiful all the
Right.
time. It's almost like a retreat every time you go.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you. I'm glad you had a conversation about them, and I hope that they listen to the good things that you have to say about your grandparents. So, so you you are a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. You started school. You developed this passion for learning. This is something that I really want to get into. You know, you've got educated parents on both sides, your mom and dad, both educated, and they passed on that education to you to try to strive more and to do more with yourself. So tell us a little bit about your accomplishments in high school.
So in high school, I was a four-sport athlete. I was the captain of the volleyball team. I really put all of my time into my athletic pursuits. Also on top of that, I was a fuse mentor. It means freshman using senior experience.
Right.
That was a really foundational thing for me about getting to lead younger people and mentoring younger students. And that was also part of my job as a captain of a
Right.
program, is to really build into that next generation of athletes. And I really do think that my time in high school athletics really like taught me how to be a regimented person, taught me
Right.
how to have self-discipline, and really taught me how to be a leader on and off the court. Um, and I give a lot of credit to my coaches. They were really great to me, and really great mentors to me as I've grown up.
What
They
about on
always
the academic side?
uh, uh I was a good student. I was an AP student.
What does that
I
mean?
had
AP?
advanced placement.
Okay.
So I did college prep. I do not believe in the whole idea of going to take college classes while you're in high school. It's a
Sure.
really controversial idea, but I think students really benefit from spending the full amount of time at school in that social environment with other students that are their age.
Right.
So I never did the concurrent thing. I always did the stay in school, do the AP thing. Um, I was a Latin student. That was probably my favorite class. I probably Miss Wongan, who is my Latin teacher. She's now a counselor at Moore. I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the friends that I made in there. My best friend was in that class with me, and she passed away right after high school.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, it was really awful. But uh, I got to spend that time with her every day, at least definitely for my senior year. So academically, I was always talented, I guess. My teachers would tell you that. I was a good writer, really naturally gifted in the humanities. My math teacher would tell you I'm not very good at math, but I tried really hard. Um, and I think that's really surprising to my science teachers now that I do a lot more science-based work, and science-based research, considering I hated science class in high school.
Right.
I
Right.
was not good at that either. So, um, but my government teacher, Liz Butcher, who's actually from Norman, um, was great too, and one of the people that really inspired me to do good government work.
So after, while you were in high school, did you get scholarships?
A little bit, I got a couple of scholarships from my school alumni association. I got some OU scholarships.
But not a full ride for anything.
No, I definitely had to work for things.
So you are the same, in the same situation as most college students, where you have to take out student loans, you have to plan your finances and plan very meticulously how to be able to live through the university life.
Mhm.
So that's something, again, you're I want to take away from any of your accomplishments, but from that standpoint, you're just a normal student like everybody else.
Yeah, I do think that that's important to bring up is that like my parents didn't have some set aside. My parents are both first generation college students,
Right.
who didn't, their parents obviously didn't have money for them to go to school, and they didn't believe in giving me money to go to school.
Right.
First of all, we didn't have it.
Sure. But I'm gonna back up just a little bit because I want people to understand where you came from, because we're getting ready to start talking about some really big stuff in your life, and where you and really you have had to dig yourself throughout this entire time,
Mhm.
and work through college. But we're going to talk about that in just a minute, because I want people to understand you didn't come from nothing, but you came from little. But from that little, you have made a lot. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. And I can't wait to get to some of those some of those topics, because the bottom line is you're a fantastic individual. And it's such an honor for me to be able to be here in person with you to talk about this, because it's going to be such a fascinating conversation. So you graduated with honors or not?
With honors, I was in the top 10% of my class.
Okay. So you, um, people often comment about, all right, I'm a big fish in a small pond in high school. Everybody knows who I am. Then I leave and go to the university. Now I'm a small fish in a big pond. Did you experience it that way yourself or?
Actually, I don't think so. I think that I was more of a smaller fish in high school than I definitely was in college. I think my freshman year of college, I really grew into who I wanted to be, and I was really
Why
forming
is that?
that.
Why is that?
I got really involved in the Student Government Association really quickly.
And I think that's a very important topic is that the student organizations are there to help students grow and fit in. And really, when you have that, you something, I'll use an Oklahoma term, you, you get your teeth set into it, it's something that you can really enjoy.
Yeah, it has been, and I have had the the fortune to be in the room with tend to know all the student government presidents, to be really popular amongst my peers. People know my name on campus. And that really started freshman year, getting to work on the campaigns for student government
Right,
offices,
right.
and getting to meet some of my best friends who also made names for themselves on campus. My best friend Angelora, who I've lived with, she, ran for student body president as a junior last year, and getting her name out there. But all of us in that freshman class really were big hitting big names, on both sides of the aisle.
Right.
Um, and I think that we were a really strong group of freshmen. So
We need to talk a little bit about your friends because a friend of yours that was supposed to be with us today can't be here because he's sick. You want to talk a little bit about Connor?
yeah,
His situation?
Connor's great. Connor is sick today, unfortunately. But Connor has served as OU president over the last year. He's also been the delegation chair for the Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislature at OU. And he was just elected as the president pro tempore of the Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislature Senate, which is a pretty big accomplishment for OU.
Right.
It represents us really well. And it represents Connor really well. He's a really great leader and a good friend. And he does a lot of great political work. I think that Jacob, Jared, and Annie can tell you that Connor's one of the best,
Right.
and is going to make a real name for himself in Oklahoma politics for sure.
Well, and I didn't want to derail talking about you, but do have that intellectual strength. Um, so your freshman year, you had accomplishments. When did you first getting some awards?
So the first award I won actually was my sophomore year in the fall. I got the King Award, which is OU's top like public service award for undergraduate
And
students.
it's a fellowship.
Yes. So what you do with that fellowship is the political science department gives you $5,000 to move to DC. And you get to work in some form of capacity doing government or public service towards Oklahoma.
And who was your first person that you got to work with?
So I actually worked for Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen, who's now Senator Mark Wayne Mullen.
Right.
And
Was he your first, was he the first one that you went to, or?
I applied all over.
Okay,
I sent maybe 100 applications out.
okay.
And the only yeses I got were Mark Wayne and Kevin Hearn. And I think I chose the better of the two. I really do. But
So out of the conversation that we had earlier, and this is something that I think is very important for those of us in the political commentary side of the world, we sometimes demonize certain individuals. You had a very good experience with Mark Wayne Mullen. He treated you very well.
yeah,
You want to talk a little bit
I would
about that?
say that Mark Wayne and his wife Christy have been enormously good to me. They were really great to me that summer. It was a hard time for me, being away from home for the first time and, really being in a city that I didn't really understand. His whole entire office staff was people like me from Oklahoma, a
Right,
lot of them OU grads. They had been through that experience that I was going through already. And they were there to mentor me.
right.
Um,